If you're a Dustin Poirier fan, you might want to click off the video because what I'm about to say is gonna sting, and the truth hurts. At UFC 302, Islam Makhachev takes on Dustin the Diamond Poirier for the lightweight title, and Dustin has a 0% chance of winning this fight. Yep, that's right, a big old goose egg. In fact, I'd go as far to say that Dustin has a better chance of getting struck by lightning and winning the lottery in the same day before he beats Islam Makhachev. And lightning doesn't strike twice, and he already won the lottery, getting Benoit Saint Denis at 15% of himself. After he had a horrible staph infection and he was massively hindered by the antibiotics, Dustin loses that matchup 9 out of 10 times. He gets super lucky, gets Benoit Saint Denis at 10-15% of himself, gets the knockout, has a good performance, don't get me wrong. He got washed in the first round, but if you think that this fight is going any other way than a second or first round submission for Islam Makhachev, you're beyond delusional. He doesn't stand a chance in this matchup, and he is down for the count. I hope his Roth IRA is set up because Islam Makhachev is going to retire Dustin Poirier next weekend. I mean, let's just get real. We're talking about Dustin Poirier, who's a great fighter, don't get me wrong, one of the best lightweights to ever do it. But Islam Makhachev is the #1 pound for pound most skilled fighter on the planet and is going to go down as one of, if not the GOAT of the sport. He's not losing to Dustin Poirier. Let's get out of La La Land, let's mature, and let's realize we're living in real life and not Rocky IV. Don't get me wrong, I love Rocky IV as much as the next guy, but this is not going to be the time that the unbeatable Russian gets stopped. Islam Makhachev is subbing Dustin Poirier within 2 rounds. And I can already hear the comments from the Dustin fans. Don't ever count out a diamond under pressure, man. When is this kid gonna learn not to count out a diamond under pressure? Or something stupid like, he's gonna shine bright like a diamond, bro. This dude doesn't know who DP is. Yep, I just don't know who DP is. But yeah, he's getting rinsed. The only way that Dustin can win this fight is if Islam fucking tears his ACL like Rafael Fiziev did against Gamrot. But Dustin Poirier doesn't have black magic powers like Gamrot does. And Islam Makhachev is not going to tear his ACL or some shit like Tom Aspinall and lose in a fluky way. But that's Dustin's only hope. Islam is going to have to tear his ACL or throw a left hand and his shoulder come completely out of socket and him be left with one arm to lose this fight. There's a 0% chance in any realistic world where this fight takes place without a fluky fluke and Islam does not win. It's not happening. I've gotten every single pay-per-view main event prediction correct this year, and this is not going to be the one that breaks my streak. I don't give a fuck about the Paulo Acosta curse, where all the champions that he's fought on their cards have lost. People seem to forget that the Dagestanis have plot armor, and Islam Makhachev is not going to lose at lightweight. Simply isn't going to happen. He's far more skilled than anybody in that division. We can talk about the matchup stylistically. Dustin Poirier, he gets cut through on the ground by these high-level grapplers. And please, give me a fucking break with the Dustin Poirier wins by guillotine. He's never fucking pulled it off in his entire career, and I'll be damned if it happens this time. Islam is not going to let Dustin Poirier guillotine him. Like you said, who give this guy black belt, brother?
Black belt? Who give him that? We have to check that.
Poirier's a black belt.
That black belt.
But he is. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, bro.
Please, brother.
What do you mean, please?
Obviously, that's a little bit cringe, but I'll go as far to say that if Dustin Poirier manages to guillotine Islam Makhachev, I will buy one of Dustin's red war hats, I'll get a bottle of his hottest hot sauce, and I will take 5 shots of his hot sauce to the face as if it were Hennessy shots, and I'll do that on camera. So, if Dustin Poirier gets the guillotine, make sure to tune back in, but it's not going to happen. I'm not even slightly worried about that forfeit because Islam Makhachev is a sure thing. Islam Makhachev is completely inevitable. He's going to be one of the GOATs of the sport. And DP, old gritty hound dog DP, doesn't stand a chance in hell. Let's wake up. This isn't Peaches and Creamville. He's not subbing Islam Makhachev with a guillotine. And I've seen people in comment section say things like, Islam Makhachev is going to be diving for the legs for dear life. How out of touch can you be? Islam Makhachev just KO'd Alexander Volkanovski, the best striker in featherweight history, in a round. And before that, he went tit for tat in the striking for 5 rounds with Volkanovski in Volkanovski's backyard and won that fight. Dustin Poirier, he might land a couple hooks in this fight, don't get me wrong. He has good counter shots, but he does not have the knockout power it takes to be able to put away Islam Makhachev and TKO him. It's not going to happen. And Islam Makhachev isn't going to let him get close enough to even be doing that. Islam Makhachev has excellent roundhouse kicks to the leg, body, and head. He's going to be landing that every single day of the week. And if Islam Makhachev is accurate and fast enough to counter somebody as good and as quick as Volkanovski, I don't think he's going to have any trouble laying hands on the chin of Dustin Poirier either. So this idea that Dustin Poirier is going to be piecing up Islam on the feet and Islam is going to have to shoot for dear life is just blasphemy. It's complete delusion. Islam is probably going to be able to outstrike Dustin Poirier with the threat of the takedown. And Dustin Poirier, when he's against these high-level grapplers with the threat of the takedown, he's going to be backing up. He always backs up against the fence, and that's where the Dagestanis do their best work. They're able to take you down with the judo trips after they get their hands locked. He's going to be in a world of trouble. And people also think that Islam's wrestling isn't high level like Khabib's. He has a great submission game. He's finished a lot of people on the ground, but people seem to think that he's not as elite at getting people there as Khabib, for example. People think that he tends to rely on the judo trips more, and his wrestling really isn't up to par. That couldn't be further from the truth. This dude shoots single and double legs as fast as light, and he is insanely strong, and you're not going to be able to stop that. Dustin Poirier, with his square hips and his boxing stance, is not going to be able to stop the single and double legs of Islam Makhachev. He's going to be backing up, getting pushed against the fence. Islam's going to be able to get the hands locked and be able to use the judo trips. Dustin Poirier is fucked when it comes to the grappling. And he's not pulling off the fucking guillotine. That's for damn sure. And don't even get me started about them when they're in the clinch. I mean, we saw Charles Oliveira just brutalizing Dustin Poirier in the clinch. And Islam Makhachev is way stronger than Charles Oliveira in the clinch. Islam, when he's in the clinch, he is incredibly sturdy. He lands excellent knees to the body. And when you try to defend him, he's able to get the takedown off of him. Dustin Poirier has nothing more than a lucky punch shot to win this fight. Stylistically, it's an absolute nightmare. Islam is very good defensively. He keeps his chin tucked. He learned that after the Martins KO early in his career, and he's not going to let it happen again. Islam Makhachev is going to cut through Dustin Poirier like butter, and Dustin's going to realize that he's never going to touch gold other than the interim belt over Max Holloway. And I think he's going to hang it up after the fight. I really hope Dustin Poirier does not win because I can't stand his sore winner mentality. The way he acted towards Max and his kids after he won the interim belt. The way he acted towards Dan Hooker. Hey, don't count them chickens, Dan. Don't count them chickens, Dan. We're going to be counting 1, 2, 3 for failed title attempts for Dustin Poirier. People think, oh, he's climbed to the mountaintop and fell just to be able to get back to the top again. It's the perfect story. It's all going to align. Nope, not going to happen. We can't buy into the hype. We can't buy into the storyline. Dustin Poirier is not going to win this fight. He's going to be just like Colby Covington, who fought for the belt 3 times and lost every single one of them. If you're able to go back and rewatch the Benoit Saint Denis fight or the Khabib Nurmagomedov fight and look someone in the eyes with a straight face and tell them that Dustin's going to win, that's just absolutely laughable. All the weapons that Benoit Saint Denis was using against Dustin Poirier is going to be there for Islam and then some. Same thing with the Khabib fight. Dustin's going to be having PTSD from when he was on the stool going into the 3rd round against Khabib, where he's like, I can't keep this motherfucker off of me, man.
Deep breaths, DP, deep breaths. I can't get the fucker off of me, man.
He's going to be questioning himself, and he's going to realize that it is out of reach. He's not going to shine bright like a diamond. He's going to crack under pressure. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be all she wrote for the Diamond. He's not getting it done this weekend. That's going to be all she wrote for the old hound dog DP. So my official prediction for this fight, I think it's going to go a little something like this. We start the fight, they touch gloves. Islam kicks him at range for a little bit. Dustin lands a decent combination, but then at the end of it, Islam changes levels, gets DP on his back, and keeps him there the whole rest of the first round, landing ground and pound shots, stifling any type of get-up game that Dustin Poirier is trying to incorporate, and just mauling him on the ground for the entire first round. Second round starts. Dustin Poirier kind of goes for broke. He overextends on a shot again. Islam Makhachev is able to change levels. And then I think Islam Makhachev is going to be able to get a second round submission. I think he can get a Kimura. I think he can get an arm triangle, a rear naked choke, a guillotine. Islam Makhachev's submission arsenal is endless. He's very good with the submissions. And I think he's getting one here against Dustin Poirier in the second round. But it might not be a submission. It could be a knockout. But my guarantee is the fact that Islam Makhachev will defeat Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Dustin's fucking wife is his husband. He's done. It's absolutely laughable. I can't wait for him to be on his back, realizing that he just lost his third title fight, and he's going to have to go to the press conference and cry about it again. Full card predictions coming out Sunday. Thank you for watching the video. Like and subscribe.